We have with us right now State Senator Dan Kapanke to react to all of this. Thanks for being here, Senator. First of all, obviously this didn't come to a surprise as to you, but are you surprised at how quickly these signatures were collected and how many?
Well, I anticipated it would take 30 to 60 days, and they did it in about 30 or less. So, you know, again, I anticipated they'd get the signatures. I just didn't know when it would happen. And today's a day, and that starts, you know, the campaign will start after the 31 days when the signatures are all verified. So, you know, in my mind, we were always going to have a campaign, and I'm ready for it.
You had said that this is kind of part of the political process and that you were sent to Madison to balance the budget and get the state's fiscal house in order. What do you say to the people who are leading this recall drive against you?
Well, you know, I took a tough vote, and there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of, as you saw, anger out there. But I am too. You know, we've had about 10 years of fiscal mismanagement in this state, and it's got us to the point where we have a $3.6 billion hole, Mike. And so, you know, we had to take some extraordinary measures, and we did. We were one of the first states that said we're going to balance our budget, and we're going to do it without raising taxes, and that's what this administration has done, and the legislature in voting for the budget repair bill. And now we have the 2-year budget to work on, and we have 3 months for that.
You're coming off a long campaign for Congress. That was a heated battle as well. How do you and your campaign prepare now for a recall election this quickly?
Well, when you look at the 3rd District congressional seat and the territory that entails, and then you look at the 32nd, certainly is much smaller, and so I've worked the 32nd for going on 7 years now. So it's a much smaller, you know, geographic territory, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for another campaign. I've been out in the district for 6+ years, and I know a lot of people out there, and we'll just be working it like we have in the past.
Are you confident if this does happen, that you'll win re-election?
Well, I'm confident that we have a very good team in place. We're going to work very, very hard, and we're going to get the message out there to the people that, you know, we did take a tough vote to balance our budget. A brighter tomorrow is on the horizon because of the measures that we take today.
Some people have criticized you during the process for not standing up and being a voice for the people in your district. What would you say to them?
Well, you know, I represent all of the people, and certainly there's one side and there is another side, and you know, we're all taxpayers. We all have a vested interest in what the state looks like today and tomorrow. And again, this was a difficult vote. It was a tough vote, and I understand the concerns that are out there. But at the end of the day, I think Wisconsin's going to be in much better shape 2 and 5 and 10 years down the road because of the measures that we've taken today and will continue to take in this session. As
you know, emotions are so heated in this. How do you change people's minds?
Well, you have to, you know, in a very civil manner, be out there and tell your story. And, you know, for the most part, you know, the people that I've encountered out here in the 32nd, for or against, it's been very civil. And we're going to continue to, you know, spread our message out there as to what this means for the future of the state of Wisconsin.
Now to the budget repair law. We said at the top of the newscast that it may be on hold for about 2 months. If the courts decide that it needs to go back through the legislature again, do you think Republicans have enough votes for it to pass again?
I would be surprised if we did not have the votes, if it had to go back to a revote. But, you know, I've said from the get-go that, you know, once it got into the hands of the court and the court got involved, you know, that's where, you know, the final decision is going to be made, and we'll abide by whatever decision that is.
If it did go through the legislature again, would you support it right now as it is?
Right, correct. Because, again, I believe for the future of this state, for our children, for our elderly, for everybody in the state, we have to balance our budget. And when you have a $3.6 billion hole, you have to take extraordinary measures, and we're prepared to do that.
Obviously, you have a lot of supporters out there as well. We've mentioned, obviously, the people who are against you, too. But what are they telling you, and what are they saying about this latest recall attempt?
Well, they're pleased that this administration, this governor, and this legislature is willing to take that hard vote to balance our budget, put our fiscal house in order, balance our checkbook, and move forward. Again, in the last 10 years, we've borrowed from so many funds, the transportation fund, the injured patients compensation fund. We still owe about $60 million to our neighbors to the west in Minnesota. We haven't paid that bill yet. We have to get our house in order, and that bodes well for the future of Wisconsin because we are willing to take those tough steps now, today.
All right. Well, State Senator Dan Kapanke, thanks so much for your time tonight. We appreciate it.